All right, guys, this is the second part of our notes for 9-6, which is on the quadratic formula. So we talked a little bit earlier this week about this quadratic formula that can be found here in your notes, right? So we've talked about these quadratics, and our ultimate goal is to be able to solve for x, figure out where in the world the quadratic is hitting our x-intercept if it's graphed, right? We've talked about how sometimes it's pretty, sometimes it's not. So we've talked about multiple different methods, okay, as to how to solve for quadratics. And we're focusing a lot on number 5 with this unit on quadratic formula, okay? So having this memorized will be super helpful for you. So let's go down to 4. It says 10 is equal to negative 16t squared plus 20t plus 6. Does this look familiar? Well, yes, this is that vertical motion model from chapter 8. So vertical motion model, right? So it says, does it look familiar? What does the 10 represent? How about the 20? How about the 6? So some of you might remember that equation, right? Where we had h is equal to negative 16t squared plus vt plus s. All right, where h is our ending height, okay? S is our starting height. So what does the 10 represent here? Well, the 10 is going to represent our ending height. The 20 will be our velocity. And that 6 is going to be our starting height. All right. So for this, I want you guys to set it equal to 0. So in order to set this equal to 0, we're going to subtract 10 on both sides. When you do that, you get 0 equals negative 16t squared plus 20t. 6 minus 10 is negative 4. Now take a look at this. Now I have my a value, my b value, and my c value. So I can go back up here, that quadratic formula, and solve for x. All right. So we know x is going to have to equal, well, the opposite of b would be negative 20 plus or minus the square root of b squared. So I'm going to put in parentheses 20 squared minus 4. So minus 4 times a was negative 16 times c is negative 4 over 2a. So 2 times negative 16. I'm going to let you guys go ahead and solve that. You're going to put your answer down here in the box, all right, on your notes, and send me the answer to that one. And we're going to get started on number 5. So number 5, same thing. Let's set it equal to 0. We're going to get 2x squared. I'm going to add 24x both sides, add that 72 on both sides, set that equal to 0. Okay, using that quadratic formula, we're going to go ahead and do the opposite of b. So the opposite of b is going to be negative 24, okay, plus or minus the square root of b squared. So we're going to get 24 squared minus 4 times a times c, it's a big one, over 2a, so 2 times 2. I'm going to have you go ahead and solve your answer. So you should have 2 answers for this one. You should have 2 answers for this one as well. So go ahead and send me those when you simplify them. All right, what does x equal? Down here, discriminant. You're going to see this word used a lot. Discriminant basically tells you how many solutions you're going to have, right? So we've talked about how if I have my parabola, that right here, here's one solution, here's one solution. So how many solutions does this quadratic have? There would be 2. Well, there's a shortcut. Discriminant will tell me how many solutions I have. All right. If a discriminant is negative, there are no real solutions because they're going to be imaginary. If the meaning it does not hit the x-axis. If the discriminant is 0, there's one solution. And if the discriminant is positive, there's going to be 2. Well, Ms. Fedorsky, what is the discriminant? This is what you need to remember, that b squared minus 4ac. So hear me out. Down here, make sure everything's equal to 0. So equal to 0. This one, so far so good. So let's get started. Our discriminant, they want to know how many solutions we have, so we have to find our discriminant. B squared would be negative 3 squared minus 4 times a times c is -4. -3 squared would give me +9. -4 times 1 times -4, well, that's 16. So I'm going to get 25. How many solutions will I have? Well, since this is 25, that's a positive. So that means this is going to have 2 solutions. Let's try this next one. How many solutions does this have? Notice we don't have a b in there. We have an a value and a c value because we don't have a b, anything with just an x. So the opposite of b, well, it's just going to be 0 squared. Okay, -4 times a times c is -3. So we're going to get 0 minus, let's see, 12, 12, 12, 24. So we get -24. You know what? A negative times a negative is a positive. So that should be +24. Sorry. So if I have a positive, if I have a positive, we're going to make that positive. That means we have 2 solutions. Okay. Down here, same idea, but let's set this equal to 0 by adding 1 to both sides. So we have x squared minus 2x plus 1 equals 0. Using that discriminant, we want b squared, so -2 squared minus 4 times a is 1 times c is 1. Okay, so -2 squared would give me 4. 4 minus 4 is 0. Well, what does that mean? How many solutions do I have? If I have 0, there's only 1 solution. So 1 solution. I'm going to have you guys go ahead and do number 4 on your own. Send that to me and go ahead and send a picture of these 2 problems done as well. All right. If you need anything today, shoot me an email and then you're good to press forward with that IXL if it is not done yet.